going on today, and we'll have a look at tomorrow's calendar as well. Just starting off with the euro. The market took the FOMC last night quite dovish as the euro pushed higher overnight into R1 this morning, but since then really, and across the other markets, there's been a bit of dollar strength coming back in. I was just checking the dollar index earlier, and we've sort of almost redone all that move that we saw from 7 o'clock last evening. So you can see here the high from what was the high from the week, which we went through last night, acted as quite good support this morning before breaking through there, and the pivot got quite messy before just breaking through now to S1 and yesterday morning's high, so acting as quite good support there in what has been an afternoon of dollar strength. You've had the pound as well coming under some pressure against the greenback here. You see another quite technical endpoint for this support. Again, same for the euro, the morning sort of highs holding up there around the 131 handle with a pivot on what otherwise would have looked like a good sort of technical long from that pivot. I know a few guys were thinking about taking that on, but with the strength of the dollar, decided against it. At the same time, you have also had gold and T-notes sort of printing session lows. If we just get that up 1 second. So you see T-notes, albeit not as big a move, but you can see here making its way down to the low, following the sort of the cash open as well, breaking through the pivot. S1 holding for now, but the gold, if I just switch to the gold chart here, you can see made its pivot, which again, nice support area around their previous highs, working quite well, that sort of double support level. So quite a lot of dollar strength coming into the market in the afternoon, sort of paring back any losses from yesterday's meeting. Worth keeping an eye on that going into tomorrow, I should say. We've got some European data out in the morning, Japanese inflation overnight. There you go, the German readings. One before US GDP at 1:30, which would be worth keeping an eye on, as well as the sentiment figures. More later on 3 o'clock, which could move the market, I think, into the end of the week, though, with a more data heavy week next week. I wouldn't be expecting the biggest moves in the world to come into place. As well, if we just look at equities here, I'm just going to transition back. Equities have been relatively sideways, if we're being honest, hasn't moved too much. Pivot working quite well with the low of the day on the S&P, back up to the highs, making a fresh all-time high there. If we have a look at Dow Jones, at a similar time, S&P made an all-time high. Dow Jones sort of followed suit, and you can see there just hanging around that R1, the previous high, working as a nice support there, nice sort of classic opportunity for any Dow Jones traders. Nasdaq, same sort of thing. The cash open, bit mixed as usual before pushing higher, printing a fresh high there for the day. Still 20 minutes left sort of in the office here, so it'll be interesting to see if we can get any further push. Elsewhere with the dollar, if we have a look at dollar CAD here, you can see the dollar strength sort of coming back into play here. We've actually got the CAD back on yesterday's high, as it seems, and obviously that low that we made yesterday, the lowest level for quite some months. So quite a big rejection in the CAD, in the euro, pound coming down quite a bit, so a bit of dollar strength coming back to the market. But in fact, this level here in the CAD actually looks quite nice. If the dollar wasn't so strong, I would say it's a good level, perhaps to look for a short. Other markets to have a quick look at before we wrap up. We've obviously got oil today, which has been quite messy. Yesterday was a tricky one of the day, so let's just revisit that. Up, down, pivot held well before sort of making our way back up to that high. We briefly broke that high this morning, albeit by a couple of ticks. Held quite well once, twice, 3 times, then broke R1, worked, came back down, pivot, almost came into play, but quite a messy market, to be honest. I think hanging on that $49, there's some sort of resistance with that R1. It doesn't seem that that long away that we could get back up to $50, so worth keeping an eye on there. Have a quick look at the DAX ahead of European data tomorrow, and German data in particular have been sort of trending down here, although quite messy between the two support levels. So a bit of data to wrap up the week overnight, in the morning and the afternoon tomorrow, so it could be quite an eventful day, but with more focus perhaps on next week. I won't be expecting too much. I hope everyone has a good evening. The weather is horrendous in London, and I think I'm about to call off my football team training, so everyone's a winner.